Hey Junior Devs, Dev Mentor Dave here, helping you bridge the gap from learning to code to launching a successful career. And part of launching a successful career is learning to write perfect code. Now, of course, I'm being somewhat facetious here because nobody ever writes perfect code. And while these 4 things are intended to be a little bit humorous, I do think that actually doing them will help you write better code. So here's the 4 things you should never do if you want your code to be perfect. Perfect code tip number 1. Never run it. Never, ever run your code. Just write the code, look at it, look how beautiful it is, think how much work and effort you put into that, and leave it alone. Don't ever run it. Don't try to view the website or the application or anything like that. Don't run it, because inevitably, when you run your code, something's going to break, or something's not going to look right, or it's not going to be the way that you thought it was going to be. So if you want your code to be perfect, don't ever run it and you'll never see any imperfections. Tip number 2, never test it. See, it's one thing to write perfect code that does everything that you want it to do, and maybe it was a little buggy at the beginning, but now you've got everything working exactly the way that you want it to work. It's perfect. Well, I recommend that once you reach that point, don't write any tests. See, there's 2 reasons why writing tests is really bad. 1, it'll probably fail, because either you didn't write the test right or you didn't write the code right. Or if you're actually writing tests well, you're going to think up some scenarios while you're writing tests that maybe your original code didn't cover. And if you don't want that to happen, if you want your code to stay perfect, don't write any tests, or only write a minimal number of tests that are going to be easy to pass. Tip number 3, don't show it to anybody. Now, this could be done 2 different ways. 1, don't show it to any mentors who are there to help you learn code, and they might look at your code and see some things that maybe would run a little bit better, or maybe are a better way of doing something. After all, your code is perfect. It runs, your little tests are passing, you've got perfect code. Don't show it to a mentor. You don't want them telling you all the things that you missed. And certainly don't do a pull request, because you know what's going to happen there. Those senior level devs, when they start looking at your code, they're going to find all kinds of things that they would change. And once they see all the things they would change, they're going to reject that PR and tell you your code isn't perfect. So if you want perfect code, don't show it to anybody. Tip number 4, don't ever look at it again. Okay, so maybe you've gone through the process and you've tested it yourself, and you've written unit tests, and you've even gotten feedback from other people. You're willing to do that. But you now have perfect code. It's all running and passing and approved. It's perfect code. Well, don't ever come back to it, because the reality is, even just 6 months later, you might come back to that code. You might see some things that you've learned since you first written that code, and you might be like, I think I could do that a little bit better. You might have some ideas for refactoring that code. If you have to refactor your code, that means it's not perfect. So if you want to have perfect code, don't ever come back to it. Just let bygones be bygones. Let what is in the past be in the past, and never come back to it again. So while you may not be able to write perfect code, if you want to write better code day after day after day, implement these 4 things. Test it out manually. Write unit tests. Show it to other people. And keep coming back to it and seeing if there's ways that you can refactor it and tweak it with the things that you are learning. Well, hopefully this has been a help to you on your development journey. If nothing else, just maybe to give you a little chuckle here and there. But if so, if you would hit the like button, I would really appreciate it. It just helps YouTube know that people are interested in this and finding it funny or interesting or whatever. And hopefully it'll show it to more people and bring them into the Dev Mentor Dave community. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, and that way you'll be notified the next time I upload a video or the next time I go live, which right now is every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon Central United States time. Thanks for spending time with me today, and I'll see you on the next one.